Um, so, determinants of states' foreign policy, as we discussed, there are external determinants and internal determinants. As far as internal determinants are concerned, um, they mainly the main focus of attention is on variation in states' attributes such as area, its geography, culture, history, economic development, technology, national capacity, social structure, public mood, public organizations, and media as well as leadership. So, why do state need military capabilities as far as internal determinants are concerned, which obviously have an influence on foreign policy making of any state? Um, they want to increase the size of their military, want to uh, have access to military equipments, train, leadership, have nuclear capability or non conventional or non nuclear capability. Besides that, a state also, uh, you know, one of the important internal determinant for a state is economic capabilities. Uh, that is traditional, transitional, and modern societies. Industrialization, and at the same time, stages of industrialization, uh, wood, coal, oil, nuclear, renewable resources, gross national product, per capita income, type of economy, whether it is free market economy or centrally planned economies or socially steered market economies. And another internal determinant that influence foreign policy of any state is what type of the government that state has, whether it is a constitutional democracy or it has an autocratic system, whether it is military dictatorship in any country or it has political party system, and monarchies like at present, we see many monarchies around the globe, or modern theocracies. Hello, Walaikum Salam. Tiranga Shweta Suji. Alhamdulillah, बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक. मैं पेशावर चाहिए उसमें राइट नाउ क्लास था, ऑनलाइन क्लास मेरा. जी. हाँ, ठीक सुन. बिल्कुल दरतला ऐसा. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल दरतला ऐसा. इंशाल्लाह दर्जबा. तो खुश आमदीद. ठीक सलाम. Not at all. Assalamu alaikum. Um, Now, as far as foreign policy tools are concerned, tools basically are used to implement the goals and objectives with regard to other countries and other international actors. For example, one of the tools is diplomacy. Diplomacy can be of different kind, but basically it is dealing through negotiations and discussions. And the approaches to diplomacy are unilaterally acting alone without assistance or consent of other states. That can be, again, of various types. It can be persuasive, uh, one sided persuasive diplomacy, or it can be coercive diplomacy as well, where the state um, directly or indirectly try to influence the other state for a particular policy or about a particular issue by using coercive means, not necessarily aggression against that state in terms of using wars. But when it comes to diplomacy, that means that engaging in dialogue and negotiation with that state. Then there are bilateral talks as well, which work in conjunction with other states, and multilaterally works in conjunction with several states. Uh, there are pros and cons to each of these three approaches. Acting unilaterally, for example, allows a state to do what it wants without compromise, but it must also bear all the costs itself. Acting with allies, on the other hand, allows a state to maintain good relations and to share the diplomatic burden, but this often requires compromise. For example, US isolationism and US internationalism. US isolationism, when at the end of First World War, the United States uh, domestic depression was such that it did not become a member of League of Nations, though it was one of the 14 points of President Wilson of United States. And then U.S. internationalism is when U.S. Believe that it has to play a role in international affairs. Another tool of foreign policy is foreign aid. Um, States, as I earlier said, that are divided into different categories. There are powerful states, then superpower states, then major powers, and then the middle powers, and uh, those who are on the road to uh, become major powers and subsequently superpower. But uh, there are countries that uh, are economically uh, not doing well, or they need economic support from other countries, for which they may ally themselves with a major power or a country that is doing well uh, than the country in need. So, states often help each other to improve relations and achieve their own foreign policy objectives. Now, one of the important aspect of foreign aid is that there are always strings attached to any kind of foreign aid. And then again, foreign aid has different kinds or different types. For example, there are countries that have a security threat from another country that is on its neighborhood or within the region, they would want that country would want to increase its military capability, so it would um, uh, request uh, the country that can provide military aid to it to either donate uh, military equipments or military help in any shape, or to sell arms to them, or trade military equipments and technology to affect the military balance of power in certain key regions of the world, like, for example, in South Asia. And economic aid, again, is another kind of foreign aid, where states either uh, financially assist um, the other country, they donate in the form of economic assistance, or give loan money to other countries to boost economic development. Now, coming to military force as a tool of foreign policy, uh, that is, in some cases, states use military force or threat of military force to achieve their foreign policy objectives. The use of military forces often involves stronger states pressuring weaker states to get what they want. For example, in the final days of World War II, Finland peace reached a peace agreement with the Soviet Union, even though both countries knew that Soviets would have easily overwhelmed the Finns. Neither wanted war, and the Soviets preferred to use their military elsewhere. So the terms of peace treaty basically gave the Soviets everything they wanted, so much so that Finland almost became a puppet of Soviet Union. So these were basically the internal and external determinants of foreign policy, and I hope to get a feedback from all of you. Please do mention your interest in any topic related to international relations. Take care of yourself, and Khuda Hafiz.